Why, hello, my little creepy cupcakes. Today I'm bringing you this super duper spooky, scary makeup from a movie called Smile. Let's get into it. I'm starting out by using a plaster cast of my face. I'm using this plaster cast because this is going to create a really nice foundational piece for the mask. The mask is the biggest one that I've ever created. It has about 5 or 6 jaws on it, and the whole time I was just trying to be very conscious of not using too much product because the heavier the mask is, the heavier it weighs on my face, and it will actually pull my face down as I am doing the makeup. I'm using plastiline clay to build up the features on the face. As you see, I'm just referencing the Smile photo to the left and just building up any of the features that I see in the mask that were already pretty built up. That way I don't have to use too much liquid latex paste on the mask. To create the first opening of the mouth, I'm just taking this piece of poster board paper. I'm going to cut it into the perfect jaw length that I see for the first one, and then with masking tape, I'm just going to hold it right onto my plaster cast. Then I'll cut out a just small strip of poster board paper and then tape it as well with masking tape. As you can see right here, I'm showing you I made like a little lip, and then I am making just like another mouth piece. You'll see it all come together, but this is going to be the first mouth opening. Using liquid latex, I'm just going to dump about, let's say, a cup into my little bowl, and then I do about 3/4 of a cup of flour, a half cup to 3/4 of a cup, and you just want to stir it a little bit at a time until you finally get the right cookie dough consistency is what I like to go for. As you can see, it's pretty thick right here, and that's the way I like it. And then you can take some liquid latex and smooth out all the edges. I like to get as much of the liquid latex down right onto the mask as possible and just start going for it. I do work in sections. This entire mask, I believe, took me about 2 weeks to do because I would do a good portion of it and then I would let it dry for a couple days so that I can continue working on the rest of the jaws. I got some fake porcelain teeth off of Amazon, and I just added all of the little porcelain teeth to the face. If you wanted to make your own, you could totally use moldable plastic to make your own, but I just wanted a shortcut in this look, so I just opted for that. You can tell in the mask, because the coloring of the mask is now a little bit darker where the liquid latex is. Right there, I actually waited about a couple days so that it would dry, and then I can continue making the next jaw. That's what I'm doing here. I'm just adding more poster board. I'm making the next jaw, and I'm just kind of getting it all laid out. I felt that in order to do this, I really needed to do it over that 2-week time span because it did need to dry down. You could definitely probably make this in portions and put it in the microwave if you really needed to do this quickly, but I don't know. I just go with what I went, and this is what I did. I'm just building it all up slowly over time, and I think it turned out really awesome. Sometimes the pockets of the mouth would try to fold in. If they try to fold in, you can shove some little cotton balls inside of the jaws to keep them as pushed out as possible, and then once it dries, you can just pull the cotton balls out. At this point, I realized that I definitely needed something to reinforce the structure and foundation of this piece, so I opted to add in some wire. So I added 2 pieces of wire, one to hold in the first set of mouths and the second long piece to hold in all of the mouths. I'm just taking some hot glue and I just hot glued the wire to make sure that it stayed as strong as possible, and then just taking masking tape to make sure I'm covering all of the wiring from the bottom of the mouth and then on the sides of it as well. And we're back at it again with the liquid latex paste, and we're just continuing to build up all of the mouths. At this point, I've definitely let my mask dry at least 3 to 4 separate times to let each of the mouths dry. And then at this one, I was able to really build up a huge amount of this one because most of it was already structurally together. And it's just a lot of liquid latex paste and a lot of buildup. You could probably use air dry clay to make this. I thought about that afterwards, but sometimes air dry clay does end up cracking, and I do know that I love to keep my mask, so for the longevity purpose, the liquid latex would totally last way longer than the clay. I still have air dry clay masks on my wall, and as time goes by, I can see that they're cracking. Here I'm adding some finishing touches of the liquid latex paste to finally build up the sides of the mouth. And then I'll add each of my little like porcelain teeth that I got off of Amazon on there. It was cool making this mask because it didn't need to be as like perfect as can be. But you guys know that I try to do everything as like to reference as possible. This was so much freaking fun to make, and it definitely felt like such a challenge to do too. Because there's so much liquid latex, it needs to rest, so that's why it probably rested for like about a week just in general. And then here is our piece. It's all dried and she is ready to be painted. This is like the biggest monstrosity ever. I love it. I apologize, I could not find the first video of when I laid down my base for this look. I just laid down a red cream paint to paint it all, and then just go on top of it with white cream paints and then just red, black, and white eyeshadows to create the dimension of the face. I'm just looking at the reference photo, and honestly at the end I just ended up covering it in blood, so it's okay, don't be perfect. And look, it's me! This was one of my favorite hairs. I freaking love that hair so much. I'm just wetting my hair with water because we're going to be putting on a bald cap, baby. So get your hair as flat as possible to your head. That's why we lay down water, because that helps you to create like a really nice smooth surface. And then just take a hair tie, tie your hair in the back as tight as possible. And then I just use some big fat hair clips so that I can clip my hair in the back. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to be looking in the back anyways. If you're going to be doing this professionally, then yes, you need to make sure it looks professional, but it's just for me and my studio, baby. I'm just taking a plastic bag because I have a few plastic bags at home, and I'm just making a little makeshift bald cap with it. Gluing down my eyebrows, baby, because we do not want to rip out those hairs. No, I like my eyebrows. We're going to be using this product that I've never used in my entire life, and we're also going to be taking some pieces of toilet paper and laying down the liquid latex, and then you're going to be laying down all these little pieces of toilet paper on top of your head. This is actually just to create texture, so it doesn't need to be perfect. That's all you need to do, is just lay down as much of that as possible. I mixed up a red, white, and brown to create this peachy color and just lay it all down as my base. I'm using Mayron's barrier spray to create a nice like little finish on top of the paint. Let it dry down a little bit, and then now you can take some eyeshadows right on top of this, and it just makes it so much smoother and easier to add the eyeshadows on top. I'm just using a brown eyeshadow to create a skeleton texture underneath. You don't need to be perfect at this because the mask is so gigantic that it covers up most of it anyways. You just could focus on your shoulders and your arms. But you know me, I get so into it, so of course I just went freaking hardcore into it, adding a lot of different textures and different colors to it just to give it that definition. I go hard in the paint, y'all. If you end up recreating this, please tag me in it. I would love to see a recreation. I'm so excited for Smile 2 because the first one I thought was so freaking creepy. I'm using a muted white body paint to create a highlighted definition in the skin of the body. It was really creepy to create this because the skin looks like it's being pulled over the bones. To capture that pulled effect, I did try to make it look streaky with the way that I painted it. Use black body paint to black out the mouth and the eyes to make sure that it doesn't pop through. Exactly. Yes, you can see some on the nose, so we'll make sure to get the nose. Perfect. Oh yeah, and now it's freaking time to shine. Putting some liquid latex all over the face. You want to let it dry down just a little bit. Add it inside of the mask as well. Give that a little second, and then we're ready. Oh yeah, you just want to push that as tight as you can to your face because this mask is heavy, baby. To camouflage it into the skin, just take some pieces of toilet paper, liquid latex, and just lay that so it blends right into the bald cap. Use your paints and blend it right into the skin using the same exact paint colors that you used before, and it should all just look very seamless with the mask right into the bald cap. You guys aren't ready for this? We're using KY jelly. This is to make the mask look very slimy and gross, and I love it. I love being gross, you guys, my favorite. And we're going to add also some fake blood. We're going to put blood all over the mask. I thought it was just easier to do it all by hand. It also is the more, it's fun. It's the more fun way, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was so much fun to create this mask. I'm glad I finally whipped out this tutorial for you guys. I'll spook you later. Bye. Mwah.